Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Ernie C, the Gap 2 Genius, and I am with my friend, Lorenzo Tafoya. My guy, what's up, bro? Welcome to the podcast.
What's up, man? Thanks
How you
for
doing, bro?
having me.
Man, bro, I appreciate you coming on. You honestly hit me up last week and just, you told me what you wanted to talk about, my guy, and shit, I was cool with it. Like, yeah, let's do this, Lorenzo. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Staying busy. Started this doctoral program at CHB, so got to stay on top of the game and really maximizing my time throughout the day, managing my time. But we're here, man, trying to make an impact.
Definitely, bro.
County. That's what we're about.
Eastside, my guy.
Yeah,
Real Eastside stuff going on. I love seeing Rasa going into higher education. That's why I respect you too, bro. You're going to places that not many could go, no matter where they're from, right?
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that, bro. And you coming on today, we were just talking about the youth and how we're trying to impact the youth and. I think that's really important to both of us, I think. And we're trying to do it in different ways. Yeah. So it's cool, bro. Let's start off with just people who don't know who you are and what you do. Can you kind of just introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure, man. So for everyone that doesn't know me, my name is Lorenzo Tafoya, born and raised here in the Eastside of Bakersfield, born in KMC. I went to Williams Elementary School. From there, went to Stern, 6th grade. From Stern, went to Sierra Middle School, 7th and 8th. And then from there, I went to East High, so I'm a Blade.
Hell yeah.
That's where it all started, East High.
Hell yeah.
And, throughout my middle school and high school journey, I joined a dance crew. That's what really, molded me down to who I am. And my mentor, Andrew Jones, he's the one that, showed us paved the way for us pretty much. He told us, education is a valuable tool that's going to take you far away in life and open up many doors. So that's where it all started, battling in Fresno, in LA, all over the area. But in order to battle, we had to get good grades. So we had to literally show our report card. And for me, my parents and a combination of my mentorship, that's kind of molded me into who I am today.
Definitely,
and, throughout my high school career, I was in this called Team Dance Fever. That was the name of the squad.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah.
It was called Team Dance Fever. And, I loved it, man. It kept me, in the art and also kept me away from the streets and it really showed me another platform to express myself.
Definitely, bro.
And from East High, some counselors there, they told me, hey, your college material, let's get you at CHB.
Yes.
So I applied, went to CHB. My first day, man, I remember orientation. I was like, man, none of my friends came here. I had literally 2 friends that came from East High. And from then on, I was like, man, this ain't for me. I kind of felt that imposter syndrome. I really don't belong here, So I stuck with it, and eventually I started, getting more, involved on campus, joining more organizations, started building those friendships. Until this day, I still connected to some people there, and it was a different atmosphere coming from the East Side to CHB. That's a different side of town.
Kind of like a culture shock a little bit. No, I bet 100%. Yeah, definitely, bro.
So it was a culture shock for me, and just stuck with it, and had talked to the right advisors, the counselors there, and they told me, what. This is what we're going to do. They set me up with the college plan. I came in undeclared. Okay. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that education was going to open up many doors for me. So they kind of told me, what do you like? What do you see yourself doing? And for me, I kind of always liked the sense of, why is poverty here? And why are gangs here? Why are systems in place, racism? So for me, that kind of, struck my interest. So they told me about sociology. And that was my major with the minor in psychology. I got my BA in 2018 with the psychology and sociology, and just got my master's in school counseling. So I'm doing that because I figured, working with the youth, I'm gonna need to learn how to navigate their life, how to understand them, really support them. So for me, it was like, man, I gotta get these skills.
Yes, definitely, bro.
Done.
Definitely, bro.
Yeah, and I got my master's in just this May 2021, and then applied to the doctorate, man, and we're here, from
definitely, bro.
East High to CHB, and now in the doctorate, man. It's been a journey, but a blessing.
And I'm glad you came on because people who watch this, I know some of the kids do watch this, no matter what the hell I say, they're still gonna watch. Proof that we could come from where we come from, and it's so easy to go left. Besides making the right move, right?
Yeah.
And it's possible to reach our goals, and it's not just this glass ceiling that I guess that's placed on us East Side boys, like, oh, this is all you could do. No, we could break through that damn thing, and we could come back. And it's important that we come back, bro. I think it's so important, dude. And it's so, like you said too, where we come from, it's so easy to not go the educational route, because you know how it is. some kids are. We're seeing it now. Kids are too cool for this. We're not doing that. I'm too cool for this shit. Y'all don't want to be smart. Like, why wouldn't you want to be smart? Why wouldn't you want to accomplish your educational goals? Right? Yeah. What inspired you throughout your life to talk about poverty, talk about gang violence, being in gangs, things like that? What, especially with minorities, what really inspired you to pursue that?
Yeah, definitely. Good question, man. So for me, it was just growing up in this environment and. Luckily for me, I had, good parents and a good mentorship. Mm-hmm. But I seen friends go down the wrong line, and for me, it was like, man, what's going on? And also I learned that from the Grapevine from the Grapevine to Fresno, mm-hmm. we have 9 state prisons here in the Central Valley, in Kern County. Mm-hmm. So to me, I was like, man, we're getting funneled into this school to prison pipeline. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So for me, I was like, man, we have to do something about it, and it's urgency because the people that are ending up in these prisons are minorities, people of color, and we're the ones becoming state prison. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, we have to do something about this, and mm-hmm. that's really what interested me in sociology and wanted to change, a little bit of the culture mm-hmm. of how our upbringing, because that's not some decisions that we're not taking responsibly. It's ending up in a bad situation. So that's initially what got me started, man, and now I'm just trying to invest in the youth. Mm-hmm. Right now I'm working through CHB, through a program mm-hmm. where we assist low-income and first-generation students mm-hmm. at Eastside and a couple of our partnership schools, and we help them, get into transition from high school to college, mm-hmm. try to make that transition and give them that college identity. Like, hey, mm-hmm. your college material, you can make it out. And we support them whether they want to go to trade school, get a certificate, go to a CSU, a UC. Mm-hmm. They're the experts at their life, so we kind of guide them in that direction. And never enforce nothing on them that they don't want, and mm-hmm. we kind of guide them.
They have options, right? You're trying to show them the options.
Exactly.
I think that's another thing too. I see working for a school. There's not just one way to get out of it. We want to say get out, but there's so many ways we could get out. It doesn't have to be just go to a 4-year or, like you said, go to a trade school. Sometimes people just want to learn a trade. We've seen so many people successful with just trades, right? Yeah. I think that's beautiful, bro. I think it's important that we have people like you telling these kids it doesn't have to just be one way. It could be there's a lot of avenues and routes that you could go to accomplish your dreams and go just making it out where you come from poverty, right?
Yeah.
So when you say from state prisons or whatnot, educate me because I'm not really familiar. Do you believe these state prisons are made for profit?
Right.
They're profiting off minorities. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, man. And I'm diving into this research. I'm kind of new to it as well. But mm-hmm. Most of the research that I'm reading, school to prison pipeline, we're seeing that minorities make up of the biggest percentage in these state prisons, especially in the Central Valley. Mm-hmm. We make up the majority of the numbers there, which is African American and Latinos, Latinx. Mm-hmm. So that means there's something going on with, and I think the main marginalizer is poverty. I feel like poverty, that's mm-hmm. where different problems come across, whether that's food insecurity, mm-hmm. job employment, you don't have good employment, mm-hmm. and also this systemic racism that I'm learning about right now, and how things are set in place in order to put minorities mm-hmm. Down, mm-hmm. and we look at a criminal justice system, we look at mm-hmm. Job employment, literally by your last name. I was reading an article, they shred your application if your last name is Gonzalez or
Contreras, Tafoya,
Hispanic last names or African American last names, and we see that, man, and it's like, man, it's not an equal playing field for every person. I feel like mm-hmm. there's outliers, there's people that make it out, but the majority, they're gonna
be stuck here, bro.
They're gonna be stuck.
Damn. Yeah. It's sad, but you're right though, bro. I remember like my dad, he graduated from Cal State, he's a probation officer, retired. Right. He always told me that your last name is they're always gonna assume, you hear this Mexican boy, this is a little Mexican boy. What does he know? Like, why can't we have what they have? Yeah. You know what I mean? Through education, why can't we do that? Yeah. And I think it's being exposed to it. We're taught, just get a job, mijo, and just pay these bills and you'll be comfortable. Like, why do we always want to stay comfortable? You know what I mean? And you're right. Maybe, like, I'm not really educated enough to say it's what those factors are, but I would like, that's why you're here to kind of expose what's going on, the truth on what's going on. Yeah. And I think we see that every day, bro. It's sad, bro, but I think that is the reality of the fact that we are designed to always fight from the bottom. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what route are you thinking that, I guess not a cure for, what route you think we should go to fix this system or, I guess make a new system? What do you think we should do about that?
Right. Yeah, no, man, great question too. I feel it all starts with resources. Mm-hmm. I feel like having mental health resources in place. You know, and we see it in education. That's why I'll start first. The counselor to student ratio in California, I believe it was like 15 minutes per student.
Wow.
In 15 minutes, man, like how can you establish that relationship, get to know the student in front of you and tell them, hey, this is what you need, these are your needs, and it's not there. So I think the overall structure of education needs to be restructured and hire more counselors, more of that support team that's kind of guiding these students in the right direction, you know, because for me, I think I met my counselor at Eastside like I would say 1 or 2 times.
Yeah,
at least, bro. You know, for like 5 minutes, and I was out the window and let's go. They got to meet with another student, and I believe it's not the counselor's fault, but it's the resources, the money that's allocated to these districts that tell them, hey, this is your capacity, how many students you have to meet throughout the school year. It's impossible, man, to get through each student and try to meet with them, and I think it all starts with resourcing and allocating the funding. Pretty much, I think money plays a big part.
Definitely,
in
bro.
This, and we need to definitely restructure it in the way education is set up.
Definitely, bro. You're so right. And now I'm thinking about it. You're right. Imagine, you just say where I work at, right? They come with students there are, and there's 6 counselors. How are they supposed to be with all these? And they get a connection with them, and then see what they're good at. Maybe they're not book smart. Maybe they need a trade. Maybe they just need someone to kind of push them a little harder than, hey, maybe BC's the way just to get you prepared for a university, or just maybe BC just get whatever you want, or just go straight into the workforce. Maybe they're just, you know how it is sometimes. Some kids are not good with books, but they're hustlers. Go start a business. You know what I'm saying? My biggest thing too, I notice this all the time. There's like 6, I don't know, I forgot how they say, 6 post high school routes. You know, one's jail, one's death, right? One's post education, college. One's trade school, vocational school, military, right? But I don't see starting a business up there. That's why I'm like, there should be 7, because I was living proof that you could start a business and then open your eyes. I didn't open my eyes, bro, till I was fucking damn near 30. Like, yo, I need to finish school now. Like, it's cool to, you know, be a businessman, but I don't think I had the resources or someone to tell me either I was worthy of it. I think these kids really need someone to tell them you could do it. And do you feel like that too? Like, these kids have never told, no one's ever told them you could do this, and this is how you do it. I think they just think college is like this big ass dorm, and we're just going to football games and frat parties. Like, no, I don't think they realize how, especially in California, there are routes for you. There are grants. Like, I was talking to these kids, they don't even know what a grant is or a scholarship. Like, you could apply, my guy. Bill Gates gives one out all the time. You could go apply. Don't say you're gonna get it, but I just think the kids need to be exposed to the resources they do have, and like you said, there are a lack of resources. And do you see that changing with the educational system? Like, because you're right, bro, you hit it spot on. There's not enough. The ratio is super crazy with how many counselors every school's given, with the amount of students who want to be seen, who need that extra attention.
No, definitely, man. I feel like there is a lot of support right now in the schools. Like, for example, one of the program that I work for, we're stationed at Eastside in the Career Center. So we help out all the students with their financial aid, their college application, whether that's BC, a CSU, or UC, connecting them to the military if they choose that route as well. If they feel like that's destined to them, we support them in that route. And we see the students, you know, we interact with them, and we have that relationship and talk about, you know, what they want to do after high school. You know, I think that's when they don't actually see it right now. I think due to the development, like, okay, everything is all, you know, just high school. They don't really see like what's going to happen after. But they got to start thinking about what route they're going to take, because that's going to impact their entire life. You know, we see it through people that, you know, decide to go straight into the labor force, that hate the job that they do, waking up to the job that they hate. And it kind of sucks, man, you know, but they got to provide for their kids or families, so they don't got an option. You know, and I feel like it's sad to see human beings not reaching their full potential, or reach what they call there's a term, I'll get back to it, but there's a term where you reach your maximum potential in life to figure out who you really are. And that's the goal that we're trying to do, is maximize these students, understand where they come from, so they can maximize who they really are, what they want to do, and what they love doing, connecting it with their passion. So I feel like this is lacking in today's society. I feel like people are ending up in jobs that they hate. And I feel like, you know, getting that creative side, connecting that passion, their creativity to maybe their major. Maybe they like video games, connecting computer engineering, something that they really love, and they're going to invest into it.
And this is the perfect time for that type of stuff, bro. Look, when we're in this technology age, you just see what I set up. How hard is it, bro? Imagine if we got some of these kids, even at the school I work at, if they had just the idea of how to do this, I think they would do great. Especially the ones who don't know how to fucking stop talking. Yeah. Why don't you start a podcast and talk about what you want to talk about, my guy? This is the YouTube life. You know, this day and age that's a beautiful thing about technology, right? Like even yesterday, it was kind of hard for us to get a hold of each other just because now I got your number. But look what happened yesterday. 6 hours, Facebook and Instagram were down. The whole world was fucking tripping. Like. We forgot what it was without these apps. Yeah. This is the age where you could make something. You could make a profit. I think a monetary value. These things have monetary value now, and I think the kids do need that, bro. I've been pushing for a video production class that shows how to make podcasts, how to make just little segments like this, and I think that's what some kids would love. I think we just gotta tap into it, bro. How do you think we should do that? You know, we're saying, you know, if getting the resources these kids need and getting them off the streets. How do you think we should be able to do that now with what we have?
No, that's a great question. Getting them off the streets, I feel like there's complexity. I feel like, you know, a lot of times, you know, some students are born into it. You know, they have born into the gang life. They're born into, you know, poverty, abusive homes. And that's where I think it all starts, because the parents are the first teachers.
Definitely.
That's where they see everything going on in the household. They're going to project it at school because that's what they learn. You know, that's their values, their morals. I feel like that's where it all starts.
Definitely.
But I believe mentorship can make an impact. If we do the right mentorship, you know, actually engage with these students, build those relationships. Like, hey, I believe in you. It's not just a, you know, hey, how's it going? You know, good to see you.
No.
They keep it pushing, but it's actually engaging, asking them, you know, what they like, what's something that they would like to see themselves after high school, and supporting them. Supporting them in that route and not pressuring them to do college if they don't want to. But it's an alternative. It's another plan. It's a plan B. They decide to do, you know, go into the labor force. Well, let's check out if you want to do welding. How can you get certified at BC for free?
Oh, God.
To go to these jobs and present them like, hey, this is my resume.
No, you good, bro.
These are the skills that I have. So how can I, you know, move up in this position or, you know, become managers, because you're certified now. You got the skills. You got what it takes to land in these labor jobs. If you want to get into the labor market right away, at least come with something that these employers are going to be like, hey, this person stands out. Let's get them on.
So young too. Imagine that I tell kids too, like, bro, this shit doesn't just land in your lap. It doesn't. Unfortunately, you have to work for it. It's not gonna just be like, oh, I want this. I think we live in the world too. It's just we want everything now. And I think, especially education, I know, dude, that does not happen now. Like, I wish I had my bachelor's, but that's not gonna happen because I want it. You gotta go get it. And I think being on campus, and you know, too, working at East High, it's cool to be on campus to mentor these kids. That's the only way we're going to be able to mentor. Unless we have some kids on the hood, you know, we could talk to our neighbors. But to reach more, I think we do have to be on campus. I think it's important, and I hope they are watching this. I think it's important for districts to have people like us, bro. Because just like law enforcement, I think it's important to have law enforcement who are from the hood. People who are from the area. How are you going to change from the outside? You got to be inside to know what's going on. And I think it's important for us to have employees like us who could stay in the inside, who know where these kids are coming from, because we both have friends that I'm sure are rough characters, right? And we know where they fucked up at. And now we could try to tell, especially I know I made some mistakes as a kid, as a man. If I could teach some of my young guys, like, yo, let it go, my guy. That's my biggest thing. I just try to talk sense into them. Like, dude, why don't you want to do that? Because you don't want to be wrong. Like, too bad, bro. This is life. You're gonna be wrong sometimes. I think it's really important that what's the term I'm looking for now? It's kind of it's within the area, but it's kind of the products of where we're from. I think I think the district needs to hire more people like us who are products of the environment that we came from, and we know where these kids are going to. Because once they see they can relate to us, they could trust us. And once we have that trust, bro, I think it could go. It could go any way, bro. Because even coaching basketball, I still have kids from Foothill now. They're seniors asking me or showing me their grades. You know, like my guy Tyson. Shout out to Tyson today. He showed me his grades. Like, dude, you could do so much with you're so skilled in your sports, but let's use that now as a tool to get you whoever gets you. Who cares if it's a D3 school? Figure it out. You know what I mean? So
man, you made a great point that people, you know, they want things. They don't want to sacrifice and invest in things. They want instant gratification. They want if they're gonna get something, they want to get it quick and now. I think social media, technology, it became this society where we get things quick.
Yeah.
And to education, it's an investment. I've been in school since 2013, and it's 2021. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of my friends, they got a house already, got their careers going on. I'm like, man, I'm still in school. I'm still investing into my education, getting the skills, but at the end of the day, it's worth it, Mm-hmm. And we got to tell these kids that, hey, it's gonna be a sacrifice. You're gonna have to, not go to family barbecues, not go out with your friends on the weekends. Mm-hmm. You gotta focus and stay true to yourself and what you want to do, and see the ultimate sacrifice is you'll get whatever you want in life, and have that passion and that drive to get there. Mm-hmm. And I feel like people now, they don't want to struggle. They just want things instantly.
And that's why people understand too. They don't see the struggle on social media. Right. They don't see the L's. They just see the and I think we're all victims. They're like, damn, I was telling my aunt this. Like sometimes I'm like, damn, I wish I had that. But then I'm like, bro, why are you envious? Don't be like that. Like the way I grew up, like, no, we're never envious. That's, you get your own. Yeah. And I think what we're saying too is, the youth needs to understand that things take time, and it's not it's a manifestation of stuff. Sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's luck, and there's gonna be times where we take L's, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think these kids too are so afraid of take some L's, right? And just be pressed. Sometimes they don't like to be pressed nowadays. You can't press them. Like, dude, they need to be told, hey, this ain't the way to go. How do you feel about what I said about they need products of the environment to be in the district to show these kids that we're just like you guys when we were younger. Now look at us now. Do you think that's a factor in what you're trying to do?
Man, yeah, that representation in the workplace, into these institutions, into the school districts, I think that's key. To see, for example, we have a student, and all they see is principals that have been at their school that are, white males, white definitely. Females. Mm-hmm. They never get to see a minority in that position. They're like, man, I could probably never get to that position, So it's great to see leadership roles that are taken on by minorities. Mm-hmm. And that's why I kind of, dove into this doctoral, because, I want to be in these positions of leadership where I can inspire the youth and tell them, hey, I grew up in the East Side. I'm from this environment, went to this high school, but I still made it out, and look at where I am. And, and I understand there's different factors. Every individual's different. Definitely. They're, hit with different problems in life, whether that's family, violence, and, so many things. But I feel like it's possible if you have the mindset and you really want to, inspire others. That's what it takes. But I 100% agree, man. Representation, diversity, inclusivity in the workplace, I feel like it's key to promoting and elevating our minorities, because they're the ones that are falling behind. Definitely, And just the other day, I went to a CHB a data summit where they showed we're graduating, I think it was in the 70% of women, and in the 30s, I think it's in the 30s for males. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, the males are falling behind, man. Like, yeah, dude. There's something going on with this generation of males that they're not going to college. They're going into the labor force, and it's okay if they love what they do, but if they don't love it and they're struggling minimum wage, and we gotta, tell them, like, hey, education is here. Come on down. There's grants, scholarships. There's aid that is here to help you. And that's one thing about living from poverty. There's a lot of aid that's going to help you pay for college. Exactly. And they don't got to pay that money back. And, that's something that needs to be, elevated to the students and let them know that, hey, these resources are out here for you, and this is how you're going to get to it. But I think putting it in practice, that's the hard part. Yeah.
I think, just how you said too, these kids, they want to work now. Yeah. I have a kid, one of these periods, he's a barber. Okay. Fucking hates class. And he told me one time, dude, sir, I don't give a fuck about none of this. I'm like, oh, well, at least he's honest, right? Right. And they see that too. I said, just tell me you don't care. I'll leave you alone, bro. Yeah. And he told me, I don't care about this. But I'm like, okay, that's fine. But remember, you're only 17, my guy. Yeah. You're a barber. You're making cool money. But do you have a license? A license to barber? Or do you have a license for your whip? You have neither. So this is where you're going to be at until you get that. Yeah. You need your high school diploma, my guy. Yeah. You need how are you going to pay for that, bro? How are you going to get your whip? How are you going to get your license? You have none of this. So you're a kid still then. If you showed me something different, then cool, I believe you. But, dog, you're not going to take care of responsibilities as a businessman then. How you going to have your own business without no licenses? Right. You got no driver's license. You got no California barber license. That's cool to do it out your backyard, my guy, but don't you want more? Yeah. Like, you got to start thinking this high school thing is the way to do this thing. Yeah. Just get your diploma. Get a C. Like, you can just sit back here like a badass, disrupting the teacher. What about everybody else who wants to succeed in this, who's not a barber? Yeah. Like, you can't be doing that stuff, bro. I'm just telling you the truth, like, and it's crazy, and I get it too. I was kind of like that too, but I was a whole different avenue. I wanted to rap, you know, but to see some of these kids do have that business mentality, and I love seeing it. But I think they do need to understand too. There's other routes too. That could be your side hustle, and you could, man, no kids, no how do I say this? No really big responsibilities at 18, 19, making some cool side money. You could do so much. You could just go to school and not have an actual job. Like what I people need to tell them that too. Like there was like a little workshop, and I'm like, well, why don't you guys tell these kids they could have like a trade, and this trade could be your way of a little bit more than part-time money for part-time time. You could work that 4 or 5 hours, make more than part-time at a McDonald's, and still go to school. Go in the morning from 8 to 12, 8 to 1, and then from 1 to 7 you want to go hustle with your haircuts or whatever you're doing. Like, I think that needs to be enforced too a little bit, bro. Like, I know maybe my stay grinding or keep grinding motto was not really a curriculum thing, but I'm like, why don't they expose that to these kids too? Like, they don't. Some of these kids are not college bound, and that's fine. And I think it is minorities. It's all rasa, bro. Like, these kids all wanna. You know how it is too. They want that fast money, and it's like you could get the fast money, bro. But what are you gonna do after that? Like, I think we all should tell these kids there's life after high school. It's gonna hit you fast, right? And what are they gonna go to? You know, I think that's what I'm scared of. Like, what are these kids gonna do once they realize that life's here? Are they gonna shortcut themselves? Or are they gonna just go to crime and start doing illegal stuff, which most of them do, right? And that's what do you think we should do to kind of wake them up for that? We should have more clubs, maybe. I was even thinking, like, why don't we have more clubs to show kids how to manage their money, right? We don't have stuff like that, personal financing and whatnot.
No, I think that's a great point, man. Definitely there needs to be more in the education field. There needs to be, especially high school, they need to teach these kids how to manage life, you know, not just education, but how to manage their life. Like you mentioned, you know, financial literacy. I don't think I ever learned about, I think government recon touched on it, the credit score. How to have a good credit score, man. That's key in the United States, you know. And then also different things that education doesn't touch on, you know. And I feel like, you know, for example, entrepreneurship. That's a very, very minimal. I hardly hear that term. I know there's some majors already being developed for entrepreneurship, and I support that 100%. If a student wants to do, you know, small business management, entrepreneurship, let's at least get you some skills, get certified either through BC, I think they have a certification, or to get an AA in small business entrepreneurship, get some skills, communication, the writing, the math, that's going to help you in your business, or else you're going to have to learn it, you know, kind of the harder way and try to explore on your own. I mean, now we got the internet, so the internet, you know, bro. Google, I feel like you can find many answers on there, but at least gain those skills that you may need, you know, that you're going to have to, you know, be equipped to run your business, how to run it successfully and efficiently. I feel like that we need to expose students to that more, and definitely support them. If they want to open up a business, how can we give them those services and tell them, hey, this is maybe some of the resources that you may need, connecting to universities that offer, you know, entrepreneurship, or maybe seeking resources in the community, maybe connecting them to a mentor that they have their own business already running,
who could teach them what an LLC is, or a license to, you know, to sell from the county, things like that. I think they need to know what those are, bro, because I hate to say it, some of these white kids exactly know what an LLC is. They know what a proprietorship is, a sole proprietorship, a multi-person proprietorship. They should know what these are too. I think we should expose our people to that stuff, bro. Because everybody else is doing it, and I think we need to do it. And I think it's not coming from us because we're not doing it. My father was education, but he was like, you know, this is what I'm a probation officer. This is what I do. He wasn't into entrepreneurship. He just discovered it a couple years ago. He's like, oh, we could do that. I'm like, we could build something with the money you have now. Like, why not? How do you think we reach these kids, bro, that, you know, they're exposed to gangs and gang violence and, I guess, participating in gang activities, right? How do we reach those kids and kind of just deter them from that route they're going on? I think that's my biggest challenge, to show them. Even one of my guys, one of these kids I have in one of these classes, so into it. It's like, that's all he knows. And it's like, how the hell? Like, I'm thinking things every day. Like, how do I show him No, bro, get out. Like this they don't give a fuck about you, my guy. Yeah. The game don't love you. Right. The game's gonna use you and spit you out like it does everybody else, and it's gonna spit you out until the correctional area of it. You're gonna go to jail, my guy. Yeah. And we're no good out here. And I think the kids need to know too. Once you're in there, no one out here thinking about you, bro. Yeah. It's the reality of it. The life's gonna continue to go on, and you're just gonna be sitting there 23 hours a day. You know what I mean? Yeah. How do we reach those kids?
Yeah, man, and that's definitely a sensitive topic. I feel like gang culture, it stems back from years back. There's probably generations of people that grew up in it. Grandparents, 100%, and I can only speak so much on it because I respect where they come from, and because I think poverty was one of the main marginalizers on why gangs initially were created. Was to defend their communities.
Yes,
and
Enzo,
I feel like now and I can only talk so much on it just because I believe I'm not educated as much on it, but I feel like getting the kids that are at risk, that are considered at-risk youth, that go to our schools, that don't have a loving home. I feel like they're the ones that fall victims of joining a gang, because they want every human wants to be a part of something. They want to feel connected, accepted, or something.
Yes, exactly. Bro, yes,
so they want to feel belonging, and when they join these organizations, they feel belong. They feel love. The love that they didn't get from abusive homes, from dysfunctional families, and I feel like. In order to get these, really impact the students, it all comes with building that relationship. Making them feel like, hey, and kids are good at doing that. They're good at seeing who cares for them and who doesn't.
Yeah, bro.
So I feel like when to target them, we really need to build those relationships, encourage them like, hey, how can we get you to go an alternate way? How can we get you to, find your purpose in life? What do you love to do other than being, in the streets and doing these things that criminal activity that might end you in the pipeline to school to prison,
bro.
And I feel like many of them are unaware of some of the things that they're doing now, that they could potentially end up in prison. And once you end up in prison, it's very difficult right now to service these students, because now you're state property. Now you become you lose some of your rights, and It's very hard to get out of that system. So I feel like early intervention. Even as far as middle school. Right now, we're servicing Sierra Middle School. Man. That's one of the schools that we service. And
tough school too, bro.
Yeah. That's where I went, and I feel like school needs a lot of help. And we're there promoting that college-going culture. And going back to your question, the at-risk youth. I think it's very complex, but I think making that connection with them, building that relationship, that's where it all starts, and making them trust you. Hey, you're not just giving me false information.
Yeah, that BSing. They know when you're BSing.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh, they know, man. 100%. They know, because they're on another level of alertness compared to someone that is not on survival mode.
Yeah, they're not naive. The ones who are naive. So many kids who are naive too, but these ones are been exposed to some real life adult stuff. Right. They kind of know what's going down right now. Especially when they're coming from poverty. Some of these kids, man, especially coaching, some of these kids don't eat.
Yeah.
They're struggling to survive. They don't know when they're gonna see their dad again. They don't know when they're gonna. If the lights are going to be on when they're home. This is real. Like, I can't imagine being exposed to that. I'm sure you can't either. Our parents had us spoiled. Now we look compared to their situation. We were spoiled, bro. And that's my biggest question. My biggest question to myself: how in the hell could I get this guy to see that this ain't the way, dog? Like, yeah, and like you're game banging on everybody here, but why I get from my history too, respect for those streets, right? What you said, though, the gangs were meant to protect the neighborhood from law enforcement taking, injustices of law enforcement coming in. They kind of got to fear us. This is our territory. But it's not like that anymore, my guy. It's the way it's built now. It's like there's no structure anymore. And I'm not saying gangs ever had a structure, but that structure within is gone. And there's so many factors in that, too. Mainly drug use, and, there's no more rules, right? No one to really put the foot down. Yeah. But I feel like now it's just like, how do I get this kid to realize, like, this thing you're fighting for, it's worth nothing, my guy. Like, you're over here trying to... I see a lot of kids, banging on each other, but like, dude, what do you gain from that? Who is that person? Because back when I was a kid, or not my dad was, when you do that, you're trying to gain something. You're going to go after the big dog. This kid is not a big dog. He'll never be in the game that, I respect. At the end of the day, some of the best people, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've met are part of like culture. They're not bad people. This is who accepted them, and this is what they live for. I get that. So when I tell these kids like, yo, when you do stuff like that, you're exposing it. This is for fun now. This is a play thing. Like, this isn't a game, bro. Like, this is some people have died behind what you're saying, and I don't think these kids understand that. It's like, this isn't a game that you play. You yell out, oh, I'm from here. Like, why are you broadcasting that to everybody, my guy? You think this is a game? And I tell them straight up, like, you're not really about that life. Like, like, it's so crazy. Well, I don't know why there's a lot of posers. Like, I think those are the ones we gotta grab out. Because they're the ones that are gonna be hurt, and they're gonna be the ones going to jail, and they're gonna be hurt in jail. Because once they see you're weak, they take them out, bro. And it's like they're gonna be in there forever because of that. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like, that shit's cool now. It's not cool. So I'm trying to always figure out a way, how do I show these kids that this life isn't cool? And it's hard, bro. And I guess I don't know if it's just that lifestyle is what they think. You know how it is when we're kids. The girls like this stuff. The tough guy, or the homies think I'm cool because I'm slinging a little bit of stuff. Like, bro, that's not cool. And I'm just, like I said, that's why I wanted to have you on, because I don't know exactly what route we should go, bro. I love what you clean up the streets. I think they should see that, because I think if the kids need to understand too, they're the next generation. This community's gonna need them, and look at our streets right now. Look how, and you know how look at Addison Highway. Why is it gotta be like that, bro? And look at the majority that's here. It's all Latinos, blacks. It's minorities that are the majority in this area, right? Look at our Edison Highway, bro. So I love seeing you clean up the streets. That's something that's really important.
Appreciate it, man. I feel like small steps and small little things like that really go a long way, because when you see people out here cleaning the streets, caring for their community, I feel like they want to be a part of it as well. They don't think twice throwing that bag out of McDonald's out of the window, or not waiting till they get home to throw it out. It's like, this is your community. Help us take care of it. And we do cleanup days. With the nonprofit Children's First campaign.
Beautiful.
With the city councilman Andre
Gonzalez. Shout out to Andre. He's a fellow. He's an alumni on S.T.S podcast.
Shout out Andre. He's organizes there at the Pocket Park, and really mobilizes people to care about their community. And it's good to see people that live in these communities go out here and clean up, because the majority of the time it's people that come from different areas that come help us clean up. But no, we got to get the people that live there to care about their communities and be like, hey, let's clean it up. It feels good when when you got kids walking from their house to to school. They want to feel a sense of, man, my neighborhood is clean. They feel better instead of seeing trash all over the place. Like your day already starts subconsciously.
That matters, bro. 100%. Like it bums me out, bro. Cause I love my neighborhood. I love it from here all the way to behind Foothill. That's the neighborhood. I feel like that's the East Side. The real East Side, not the East Side of City of the Hills. That don't count to me. I'm talking about the heart. We live in the heart, bro. And I think, man, this place needs so much help, bro. I think that's where people like you come in. And do you feel like sometimes the way you look at it, I just need to change one? If I could just change one, it was worth it. Is that kind of how you see things? Like I guess like in a micro view, like I just need to change one life. And this is all worth it. Is that the way you kind of feel?
Yeah, definitely, man. That's exactly the way I see it. When I have my workshops at East or talking to kids in the community, I tell them, if I could change this student's mindset, they're gonna change their kids' mindset and the generations from there on. We end that cycle there. And another big part is the parents, educating the parents. We have parent workshops. We tell them, hey, how can we get your kid to be on the right track, become productive citizens, and not end up get funneled into the school to prison pipeline? What are some things to keep them away from the streets, keep them productive? Whether that's the arts, whether that's the extracurricular activities after school, sports. How can we support the student to really help them out? And I feel like parents, if we impact the parents, we impact the rest generations that are here. Definitely changing one mindset, that could go a long way for sure.
Tell me a little about the numbers regarding the school to jail pipeline. What do those numbers look like in your research and what you're learning about right now? How is that looking right now?
So right now I'm fairly new to the school to prison pipeline, but I've the research that I've done already. We see that out of 3 African American individuals, 1 will go to prison. Okay, that's some of the statistics that I'm seeing, and I'm like, man, that's scary. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. And also looking at the school to prison pipeline is we look at the phenomenon of if students don't know how to read by the time they get to third grade, if they're illiterate, that's when they start predicting, let's start building these prison cells. Why? Because third grade reading level is going to impact whether they graduate from high school or not. That's going to impact them not graduating, dropping out. Therefore, there's a correlation to committing crime. So they found that. I'm like, man,
that's scary.
The reading levels, man. I was mind blown when I was researching this, and also, I'm researching different articles that talk about how to construct or how to help young males of color because they're falling behind right now in the university realm. And how can we support them and encourage them when you got families telling them one thing, the school telling them one thing, their society, their culture. They got so much things going on in their mind. They don't know what to select and what to do when they get out of high school. So it's very important that we help them navigate that through that lifespan and understand what do they want, because at the end of the day, our parents can tell us this, but is that something that we love to do? Or our culture might tell us this. Is our culture the right thing to do?
Definitely,
we see that in the Latino culture, Latinx culture. Not some of the practices in place, they're not beneficial for us, We
Definitely.
see the machismo. We see another one is the mental health stigma.
I was just about to say it. Our mental, we are not, and I didn't know I had mental health issues all my life. Like, I was always like, get over it. Don't cry about it. Like, you're right, 100%. Continue on that.
Yeah. That mental health stigma, man. Like, when I got to CHUB, I was struggling with some imposter syndrome, anxiety, depression, because I didn't feel like I belonged.
Imposter syndrome, is that kind of like when you feel guilty for making it out? Or what exactly is that?
Yeah, imposter syndrome is when you don't feel like you're a part of this organization, or when you feel, like the outlier in certain situations. You feel like you don't belong. So that's initially what imposter syndrome is. And struggling with that at CHUB, there was a counseling center for free for students. They could go in there, talk to a therapist, a counselor. But the thing is, it's there, but young males, they're not going to go because of that stigma. If I go in there, I'm going to be looked at as weak.
Or I used to always think, if you go see a therapist, you're crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no. I learned late in life. It's okay to talk about your feelings, my guy.
100%,
Definitely.
100%. I feel like healing, it comes from within. And if you don't get to heal yourself properly, that's going to impact your relationship later in life, your family, the relationship with your friends. All that gets, you start, developing yourself. You're like, man, I got a lot of healing to do. And it's going to affect everything. So I feel like utilizing those mental health resources, but also going back to it, someone from the east side, someone living in poverty, they don't got money to go hire a counselor or go meet with a counselor or therapist. It has to be for free, man. Like, I feel mental health services, there needs to be more exposure of it in the county, in the city. I feel like there needs to be more of that exposure in order to really, bridge that gap for the professionals and also the community. So I feel like the lack of that mental health in our culture is really stopping kids from really, maximizing themselves.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about this generation. I know I was knocking the social media, right? Everything's self-graduate. We want that how do you say, we want everything now, right? Now. The mental health aspect has definitely blossomed the last 5 years, 5 to 7 years. I think it's okay to talk about your mental health now. I think people, especially in the school, I think they're getting better at that, recognizing these kids have anxiety, these kids have ADHD, these kids are hyper, these kids have a hard time concentrating. And I think that's kind of what this generation, they're blessed with. Now there is a spotlight on mental health, and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure you talk to somebody, and we're going to try to be better at understanding. We're not just going to brush it away. Oh, he's just having a bad day. Let's brush it off. He'll get over it. He needs more sleep. Like, that's how it was with us, at least. I graduated 2009, and I didn't know I had anxiety. I used to smoke marijuana. Like, every time I get nervous around a lot of people, I'll just smoke and I'll be good. But no, that's anxiety, my guy. You need to come head on why you have anxiety, and I think that's something that's really, really important now. That stigma we're trying to break, and especially Latino families, Mexican families. I don't think we're allowed to really express our feelings and get that out. So I think that's important. No, 100%. I think that's important. You think that factors into why some of these males now in high school are not able to succeed at the level that they're capable of?
Yeah, definitely, man. I feel like when primarily males, they hold everything in and they don't really know how to express it or deal with certain emotions. They hold it into themselves. They don't have someone to talk to that about, as compared to women. I feel like they're more, they could talk to someone about it, and it's become a norm in our society for women to, seek help, But for men, I feel like that you're seen as weak, you know. And I feel like when a student is not completely healed and doesn't really understand what's going on in their mind, I feel like definitely that impacts the way they see life and the way they're going to choose their career path. Because they're going in with all this different emotions bottled in. It's like, man, you're ready to blow up when someone, you know, they start tripping on you, start anything. You know, they got everything inside of them because they have no expression. Society tells them don't express yourself this way because you're gonna be looked at as weak. Yeah, and I feel like we need to be more vocal about it and definitely promote for young males, you know, to start expressing themselves. It's okay to talk to someone about your feelings. Make it a habit because it's important, man.
And I think when carrying, I learned too throughout my years, carrying that weight isn't healthy, yo. You gotta let that off. Once you get that weight's gonna come off your shoulders, it's gonna be weight you didn't even know you had on your off your shoulders. Like I never knew I was carrying that around. Yeah. I think it's a beautiful thing, bro. I learned that with my girlfriend. It's like I need to talk about my feelings but not in a, I guess, what's the word? I just had it in my tip. But not in an aggressive way. It don't have to be, I'm mad. It just got to be, just be calm and just kind of stay how you feel. Yeah. I'm learning that from my brother, too. Like, we're just learning boundaries. Right. I think, I was even telling this kid, too, you got to learn how to set boundaries with yourself, with other people. Learning how to set boundaries, learning how to sometimes take the high road, fight your battles. What hill are you going to die on? Yeah. I'm learning that as an employee, too. Like, there's certain things that I'm going to die on this hill, I'm not. And I think that's something I'm, you know, I'm 30, I'm still learning that. Right. So I think if we could kind of get ahead of the game with these kids, I think we're just, how do I say this? It's a luxury to have people like you around for these kids. Appreciate they need, because I don't think they're not going to be exposed to that. They don't have that because some, you know, I think they'll learn one day, but why not learn the earlier the better, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's good to have this platform, man, to talk to the people and really engage into, you know, who you're bringing onto this podcast, really show the vulnerable side and the true side of what they do and what they are, and that's what we're about. You know,
that's crazy, huh?
Collaborating. It's good to see, you know, different people on there that I've seen around town, but never really got to dive into what they do and what they're about. So I feel like this podcast, man, is going to be beneficial for the youth and for anyone that wants to take a little piece of knowledge of inspiration to the next level. You know, I feel like we need it in this society.
I think that's what and. This podcast is all just conversation, you know what I mean? Just regular conversation. It's crazy. I've had my homies come here crying. I've had people get angry or just tell us something they never told. But I think it's being comfortable in here. Like, you know, we have family, friends, right? So it's being comfortable and trusting one another and just seeing that you're here because I want, you know, you did offer, but and honestly too, bro, people get mad. People always talk, I want to come on. I'm like, bro, I don't want you on. But with you, Enzo, I wanted you on, bro. I know, I see what you're doing for the community, bro. Right. When did you first? What age did you start thinking? Oh, I want to give back to the community now, because not everybody's born like that, bro. People don't. Honestly, I think people are kind of selfish. Like, oh, I can't change that shit. Like, it's gonna take more. It's just like voting. Oh, my vote don't count. Like, what is my what are my resources gonna do? My time to help the community. That's not gonna change anybody. What kind of inspired you to want to give back to the community, to the East Side especially?
No, definitely. Thanks for that. And I'll be true about it. You know, I struggled. I think it was 7th grade where I had, you know, depression, anxiety that really hit me hard. I was losing weight. I thought I was gonna die, man. It was the first time ever experiencing something like that, and having that anxiety really put something in a little flame in my heart to help others. You know, it created that sense of, you know, I was in a dark place, but now I want to help individuals like myself in this community, and that really ignited the flame to really, you know, go out there and help, whether that's investing my time, because that's all I have right now is my time, my labor and my time, because I don't got the money, you know, but I could invest if I could help out, whether that's building desks at the park, cleaning up the streets, you know, because I feel like, and also my sociology degree really exposed me to seeing life through a sociological lens, meaning we see the injustices that happen in our communities, and I wanted to be a leader and make this popular, you know, because I feel like today's society, the United States, we're an individualistic society. We care about, if it doesn't involve a business transaction, I don't want to be part of it. Definitely. And I feel like we need to be more transparent with people and tell them, hey, I can help out, whether that's, I'm not getting nothing in exchange. It's okay to not get nothing in exchange. It's okay to provide services, provide, you know, your labor, your time for something that's going to impact people. I feel like we need more of that in our community. So I feel like that really sparked my interest in helping. My combination of my mental health not being in the right place and my sociology degree really molded me to care for individuals that come from marginalized communities. Really stand up and be vocal, be a social justice advocate. And that's what I represent now, and I'll keep representing it till the day I die. When I see injustices, I'm going to call it out.
Definitely, bro.
Things that are wrong, I'm it takes courage to stand up for that when systems are in place, and it takes a lot of courage, and we need to be vocal about it and teach the youth to stand up for what's right as well, So I feel like that's initially what got me, into this helping out the community.
And it's crazy with the youth too, see somebody down and out, you record it. My biggest pet peeve, bro. Like, my guy needed help. You're the recording it, thinking it's a fun and games. Like, why don't you go help people out? Exactly. Let's put that energy. I'm all about energy. Let's put that energy towards something that's gonna help the school out. And like you said, bro, I think it takes a lot of courage for someone to see someone get some wrongdoing to somebody and speak up against it. Like, no, you're wrong for that. That's not the way you should treat people. And that's beautiful, bro. We do need more of that. And I try to be I'm a businessman myself, not gonna lie, but I do try my best to give back as much as I can, dude. And I think that's important for the youth to see. It's a humility. I can't even fucking talk right now. Humility, right? Just being giving back and don't expect anything in return. That's my definition of that, and I think that's the way that we need to aspire to be like that. Because I'm sure with your parents, and I know with my grandparents, they're givers. They're givers, bro. Like they love their family. Like the house right now we're in, givers. They just want to make sure. My tata was real smart in making sure we set up for the next generation. He was already thinking about his grandkids 30 years ago, right? And that's something I think we need to kind of push with the kids too. Like, what are you gonna have? I tell these kids all the time, what are you gonna do though? Like, even the kid with the barber. So what are you gonna build on that? You're gonna when you have a kid and you have a wife. What are you gonna leave them? Anything happens to you? Because one day we're all gonna die, right? What are you gonna leave your family? What's your legacy gonna be like? And I think we need to tell the youth needs to be exposed to that too, bro. I don't think they exposed, especially right now. I think everything's 3 years from now. What's going to happen with college? What's going to happen with your trade? What's going to happen with, are you going to adjust to the adult life? But that's going to come no matter what. I think, how are we going to get them to have a legacy of their own to leave for their family? Because honestly, these kids too, they're having kids at 20, 21, 22. What are you going to do to leave your kids something now? And they need to be exposed to that. I see that all the time. Like, man, I'm thinking this too. I'm like, that's cool, you're making money, my G, but what are you going to do? Because some of these guys have kids. What are you going to leave your kids now? And I think people really need to be, and I ask myself that question too. Like, when I do have children, what am I going to leave them? Because look what the previous generation did for us. Like, my tata was thinking ahead of the game, family man. And I'm sure you're a family man, and we're exposed with family man. I think more, it's just sad that we see some of these kids who are not exposed to that. They don't have a dad, and we hear stories of they get deported, they're in jail, they're just gone. They went to the store and never came back. I think that's a big impact on some of the males too. They don't have that male figure. Do you agree with that? I agree, man. There's a lack of the father figure in the household. We see a lot of divorce rates went up, and that kind of messes up the student or the individual. Like, man, what's going on within my family? They want to have a sense of belonging, a stable home, but not having the father figure, and or vice versa, having the father, not the mother. I feel like that definitely creates a negative impact on the student. And I feel like mentorship. That's when mentorship comes in. I feel like having the right mentor, being involved in mentorship programs that's going to set you up with a mentor that's going to guide you in the right direction and be that role model for you and tell you, hey, you're doing this wrong. How about we do this? Or just kind of mentor you throughout life. I feel like we all need that. Whether that's your dad to tell you, or your mom, kind of mold you in the right direction. And shout out to my dad too. He's the one that kind of, going back to parents giving. My dad, I feel like I learned a lot of my giving is through him. He always seen what he did in with different people, and whether that's giving money away or supporting them in any other way. I feel like that engraved into me. Definitely, and he's a businessman as well. He never went to college, but he was able to finish his high school diploma, but he went a different route. And I support him, and I acknowledge and really
value, and he inspires me, to give back to people, because he gives back to people in a different way, and that impacts me. That has definitely impacted me. But having that role model there in place definitely impacted the way I see things. And going back to the people, the youth that don't have that role model, we really need to connect them to mentorship and to community resources that have some programs like this to really, inspire them and impact them.
And what community resources, if you want to just give out for the podcast, what community resources are available right now to the youth that they could do that? Well, especially the ones who are missing that male role model. We're talking to the fellas right now, to the boys. What programs are those right now that are available to them?
Yeah, some community resources that we collaborate with. The first one is Stay Focused Ministries. They have a program called Reach for Greatness. I know if a student is at risk or doesn't really know how to maneuver through life, or just want some skills and some, that personal bonding, Reach for Greatness or Stay Focused Ministry, they do a great job. They got a great staff, and I feel like, young males really need to dive into this program. Another one, it would be, I think the program that I work for, man, even at CHB, we help low-income first-generation students.
Hell yeah.
I feel like, we get funded through the Department of Education. Our offices, we're at CHB, but we can recruit and get any student, whether that's from any high school, any middle school student, they can be part of our program. And I'll send you that information if you want to share it.
Please,
if,
bro.
You got people on here watching that want a support system in place, and I can, help their students transition from middle school to high school and eventually college, or whatever pathway they want to choose. And that's another resource. But also the resources that, looking at the different institutions here in town, BC, Taft, some of the, local organizations that we have. Also, we have some nonprofits that do a lot of work, like Andre Children's First Campaign. They do a lot of great work, volunteering. And there's a couple I can't think of. I know we collaborate with so many, but just some of the few. Yeah.
Like I go to Taft right now, and they have a lot of resources, bro. So many resources, my guy. Right. People just need to tap into them. Yeah. They have to. If you don't tap in, they're gonna go away, and that's gonna be sad. I tell even because I'm the old guy in class. I'm like, go to tutoring. Yeah. Go to figure. If you need help, go to that counselor, because the counselor is my professor right now. She's great. I've been going to I've been taking one class a semester since like 20. So I'm like, yo, bro, she's gonna help you. She's been putting up with my ass forever. She's helped me. I'm one class away because of her now. She's gonna help you, yo. Like this thing it's a long game, but you just gotta learn how to time manage and just figure it out. That's all I tell. That's what I tell these kids too. It's 4 years, maybe ain't for you. It's okay. It wasn't for me, but it's choppy wood, bro. Right. That tree's eventually gonna fall, my guy. Yeah. And I'm no shame in my game, bro. This is I decided to go part time and go. I put other priorities ahead of school, which is not okay to do. But when you living solo, you got other dreams and ambitions. Right. I kind of knew how to fill my plate up. You know what I mean? My plate's full, but I know what portions I can handle. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's a great point, man. Right there. Like going back to you. Excuse me. Yeah, you selecting the time, and then if you want to be part-time, whether that's full-time, I think it goes based on the individual, and you're the expert at your life. And I see a lot of students right now that they don't have their basic needs met, so education goes out the window. Yeah, bro. They, especially during this pandemic, parents are unemployed, the students have to go work. I feel like they all have to start at their pace, and if they don't want to be full-time, that's okay. Let's go part-time. Exactly. Okay? And if college, you want to wait a year, let's wait a year. Because you need to have your basic needs met in order to move up. And I think too, it's what I thought. What my thing was like, damn, once you take that time off, you get some money. Yeah. And I know how I used to think horribly, bro. Like school ain't paying me right now. I'm gonna go get this money. I had to stop doing that shit, bro. Like you gotta stop thinking like this is an investment, or what are you gonna be in 5 years? You're not gonna. I don't want to be carrying around. Just lugging around my DJ equipment forever, Enzo. It's just cool right now. It's great, business is booming. Right. But you know how it is. The match doesn't stay lit forever. Right. And I think, and I remember my pops telling me, once you get the education, and we've never been in trouble. We don't got anything too crazy going on in our lives. They can never take that shit away from you. Yep. And that's kind of like, okay, now I gotta think like that. My girl has a master's degree too. She always tells me like, if I could do it, you could do it. Yeah. So, but this is his time. Yeah. With the dedication, I'm like, okay, you're right. It's a Nipsey thing, right? Hustle, dedication, and it's a grind. Right. It's 100% grind. Yeah. It's a marathon. It is a marathon, bro. And I just hope that when they watch this, they could see that if
college isn't for you. There's other routes, and I hope they get exposed to the business life, what these credit scores mean, what LLC means, what a sole proprietorship means, what a hustle is. It could be hustling tacos, it could be hustling gigs, it could be a photo booth, it could be YouTube videos, it could be podcasting. Do whatever you feel like you're good at and build at it. And I think that's what I hope all these kids do, man. And I see and I think we're here because we see the potential in these damn kids, right? I think we see it every day. There's so much potential. I think what helps me is at least I tried, right? I could tell them, yo, you could do this. But, it's a battle. It's an endless battle, bro.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I feel like kids that struggle, that grew up in these homes, that really, struggle different than people that come from, privilege and good homes. I feel like they have that spark in them to really take them far. If they could use that struggle, that could take them, man. That could take them really far. We just gotta ignite that on them.
And you said it. I think you said the best phrase: breaking the cycle. Break that chain. I think that's something I try. I'm like, dude, what's your mom do? And they tell me what to do. Okay, do you want to be better than that? Because you can be. And just because you have, and I think these kids need to understand too, is perseverance is a great thing. Just because what the card you were handed, that doesn't mean that's it for you. We all go through shitty situations. We're all born to shitty situations. We have some of these kids. I can't even, man. There's some horrible circumstances in their life that I don't know if I could ever bounce back from. But that doesn't define you. You define yourself. And that's something that's why it's important to have people like us still in where we're from, to be still in the mix, still talking to these kids. And I'm not a teacher, but I'll take what I get as an IA if I can still build. I'm building relationships every day. Like, you're right. It's more than, hey, how you doing? Good morning, get to class. Like, hey, my guy, what's up? How you doing today? Why are you late? What'd you do last night? Oh, that's what maybe it goes from there. Okay, remembering their name goes a long way, right? Yeah, man. Yeah, and your job and title is as important as any other person in that school, because you're building that relationship with the student. You're actually engaging with them, and that's many students, dude. Yeah, dude. Because no, just the teachers, they're in one class all day with these kids, right? They have a job. They have a curriculum they need to provide and present to them in a timely manner. With me, I have time to mingle and kind of see what they're doing in between classes and get on the okay, let me see if I can talk to this kid. My favorite ones are, of course, the wannabe posers, right? Like, bro, what you doing? Where are you getting from that, my guy? Like, I see you in the bathroom doing your thing, bro. You came out. I know what you guys are doing. Why are you doing that for? Like, that's not the way, my guy. And plus, you're too loud. Everybody knows you're doing it. They see you doing it. The kids flipping dollars and shit. Like, what's up with you guys? Why are you doing that for? Like, you guys just don't care about authority or what? Like, that's not a good way to be. Like, how you gonna be in this workforce life if you can't have anybody tell you what to do? So it's crazy, bro. It's a never ending battle, bro. But I'm a part of it. I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm grateful for the opportunity, 100%, man. I knew when I started coaching, teaching is what I want to get into. Is that what you see yourself too, Enzo? Do you want to be a counselor or a teacher? What's the end game from you right now? What bro, your doctorate program, dude. That's not, it's a route that's can be taken, but people don't invest the time because it does take some time to get to that point, that destination, right? So what's the end game from you, bro? Your investment you're putting in. Yeah, definitely, man. Great question. So for me, I see myself becoming either a superintendent for a district, or also a director of a program. Right now at CHB, I want to create like a young males of color center. I want them to create different programs, and I want to be a director of that and run that and do it my way. I want to do things, hire my staff, diverse staff, and really go out there and impact the students. But I think my end goal, is just to be in a position where I can impact not only through individual basis, but policies and funding and money, because I feel like that's where the resources come in. So I need to be in that position of power to really tell the schools or the districts like, hey, this is the money that we need at this school. This is what we need at this school. And I need to be in an eagle's view to see what's going on. Because there's a lot of resources that are lacking. In order to be there, I had to get this,
educational leadership doctorate. So when I knock on the door, they could, take me serious.
Yeah, 100%. You need that, bro.
I need it, man. I needed to move in this education field. I'm coming, and they need to understand that, we got the knowledge, we got the skills, we just need an opportunity.
It's the embodiment of changing it from the within.
Yep.
And that's exactly, bro.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what I hope to do too, bro. I want to be a teacher just so I could see, there's some things I see that I'm like, I want to do this better.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it now. It's the beauty of being in these classes. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not doing it that way. Or I like that. I want to steal that one day. And and I think being able to relate to these kids and seeing where they come from, and I think I can make an impact, bro. And it's kind of scary too. I'm like, damn, I could have an impact. I think it's kind of scary for me. Like, man, I could be that person to change their life or just expose them. Like, damn, like I said, some of these kids have never heard, good job. Good job, mijo. Good job, my guy. Yep. Bro, I like the way you did that. You killed it. Keep going. Don't stop. Yeah. Tell them, like, hey, that's cool. Like, even one of these little track stars, she's like, oh, I felt like I did okay. I was only running by myself. I was ahead 30 seconds. I'm like, yo, fuck them. Right. Your 30 seconds can go to 45 seconds now. Yeah. It's you against you now. You know what I mean? Like, I think kids need to be exposed to that mentality. Like, don't feel like you got a lollygag now because you're ahead of the crowd. Go further now. Yeah. This is your world. They just living in it. Right. And I think these kids need that, bro. It's I hope it's like I said, it's a huge responsibility, and there's a lot of good people, and I think I need to shout out to everybody too. The school I work at, there's so many good people who are just like us who want to give back, and it's beautiful, bro. And especially there are some people of color in those positions, and I hope they continue to see that the kids need to have that motivation. Yeah. Sometimes telling them that they did a good job, they ain't never heard that before. Yep. So it's cool to see that, bro. That you have that ambition and that will to do that.
Yeah, thank you, man. Sure, bro. It's extremely important to tell students to believe in them. And in my research too, what I'm seeing is there's a lot of teachers that come in with deficit thinking, meaning they get placed at these schools and they already have low expectations of these students, so they do the bare minimum, to just get by. Oh, you're not college route. Let's just, barely teach the lesson. And I feel like that makes a huge impact, and I still remember the good teachers that I had
100%.
Going through middle school, high school, and the ones that just...
You have Mr. Prieto at Sierra?
I have Mr. Prieto. Yeah, shout out Mr. Prieto.
Still
we collaborated with them.
Still my guy. Yeah. Still my guy. Yeah. Still text him on his birthday. He texts me on my birthday. That's my guy. I'm glad he's one of my mentors, 100%. That's awesome, a Latino man in the position of where he's at. Yeah. That's one of my inspirations, 100%. Mr. Capilla. Yeah. Remember Mr. Capilla at Sierra? Yeah. Like, you remember those people, bro. Yeah. You remember those people 100%. Like, okay. Even one of my wrestling coach, like, he's one of my guys now. Like, oh, okay, I see where you came from. Now where you're at. That's inspirational to me, bro, because I know they care about the kids and trying to make a difference. And it's beautiful, dude.
Yeah, and going back to, that representation, I know Mr. Prieto, when he was at Sierra, I was there for
a young Latino man in position of power, bro.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is the first principle that I see that I could relate to, and that kind of engraved in me subconsciously.
Was he still DJing at the dances?
Yeah, it was still DJing, but man, I was out there. That's when I was at my peak of dancing and battling. Yeah, those after school dances at Sierra, man, I remember that killing it with my boy Hector, my boy Chris. And
one of my first exposures to DJing was Mr. Prieto. I was like, oh yeah, that's fucking tight. I want to DJ. It's like, man, you'll never forget that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've ever told him that, but doing his daughter's quince, like he's trusting me into doing stuff like that. It's like, damn, and him helping me. Like, even if I see, we see job openings. Like, hey, can I put your reference? Yeah, put me as a reference, Ern. Yeah. Right, giving me letters of recommendation. Even you, bro, when we first linked up, the situation we had at the Hill with homeboy who's, we don't have to dive in. We're not gonna even give him the time. Fuck him. Just saying that you're for the kids and you want to give back, but then you calling minorities derogatory names on these big platforms, and they're fucking over here. They're giving you accolades and putting the spotlight on you. Nah, bro, that fake shit does not. I know that's a good thing about where we come from. We spot fake shit. Yeah, like you're doing shit for publicity. You do that shit because you want people to think you're this person. But when hey, social media has a great way to expose people too. Yeah. That's when you helped me out too, bro, because your department was knocking on that door, and they had to open that motherfucker up. They had to open it up, bro. They had to open it. 'Cause I think we were right. Like you cannot have people like this getting accolades and being recognized by your establishment with these views. Because if it was us, bro, we would have been out the game. We would have been out the game. Like this it's because he's a majority. Nah, we ain't doing that, dude. That's not fair. Especially when you want to be around these minority kids and give back, and you want to be, recognized. Oh, I got Junior some sneakers. But I know how I feel about Junior's mom, who wants to be walking out because I feel like her injustices are not, in my mind, an injustice. Like, nah, I don't slide with that shit, dude. So I appreciate you helping me on that. You really helped me out with that, bro. You gave me it's a cosign. That we weren't gonna let that slide, my guy, and I think that's beautiful, bro. We gotta stick together. I think we were right in that situation.
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's just calling out things that are not right.
Like you said, calling out injustices.
Yeah, calling out injustice. Having that social justice lens to when you see things affecting the youth that could potentially lead them the wrong way and derogatory terms.
Yeah, bro.
I can't have that, and I'm gonna call it out and hold people accountable.
Especially when they're around our kids.
Oh yeah.
Sure. He was around our kids. Like he was around the programs. He was around the school. He could just be around the school because of who he knew. But then like, wow, look what he's saying there. Go back to where you came from. But you're calling every fucking Mexican derogatory name you could think of. That was ugly, bro.
Yeah.
And I try to, I never really told you this. I try to reach out to him, bro. Gave him the chance, delete that shit, or we're just gonna go. My platform is not for that, but we can make it for that real fast and get the word out. And it blew up, bro. That was like. That still pops up once in a while. My most shared thing ever. And it's horrible. It was that. Like, it had to be that piece of shit stuff. But it's like, we were right.
Yeah, the community stood with you, because we understand that ain't right, man. There's right and wrong. That was wrong, and we got to call it out and hold people accountable.
It was so funny how whoever the hell it was, they separated themselves. Like, oh, that's not us though. We don't operate that foundation. That's a whole different thing for all. But it has your name on it though. That's the problem. Your foundation has the same thing as the place you work at, so it does represent you no matter what. And homecoming, they recognized those people. He was one of the people that was still recognized. They still let him do it. And what am I gonna do? I can't change the world, you know what I mean? But we exposed it, bro, and you helped me out on that, my guy. I really appreciate it. That was cool. It was necessary, you know what I mean? So man. I think more of that too, man. I think we gotta really cannot expose people. Just if you're not for us, don't try to be for us and then talk down on us. We don't need that. That's just taking us back. And let's just see what happens, man. I really respect what you're doing, though, Enzo, and I really respect the goals and what you accomplished so far, bro. It's beautiful seeing you getting your doctorate and being recognized, bro, and getting your master's, and just seeing where you came from. We went a few years ago, but since then you accomplished so much, my God. I really, really respect it, bro.
I appreciate that, man. It takes a lot of perseverance, sacrifice. I just post. When I graduate and people see the good, but all the sacrifices that led up to this, man, it's just a lot. And you got to have the right mentality and be in the right mentality to overcome this and really, manage your 24 hours that you have in a day. I feel like 24 hours wasn't enough for me.
No, 100%.
But I had to make it enough, sleep, eat, when I was going to study in order to, really maximize. Because for this doctorate, they only accepted, I believe, 20 students out of, I think there was like 7 that applied, man. And I was like, man, I just need an opportunity. I remember being in that interview like, hey, give me an opportunity. This is what I want to do in Kern County. This is my passion. And, let me in. Just give me this opportunity.
That's all we need, bro.
I'll see what I can run with this.
That's all we need, bro.
Yeah,
that's
man.
all we need.
It's been a blessing, so I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I've always said that too. No, thank you for coming on, my guy. Thank you for reaching out, bro. I'm glad you did, my guy. I honestly was thinking about a whole different way to go about it. I was like, oh, you came on? Why not? Let's knock this out.
Yeah.
I think episode 103. Good God, man. Bro. It's a pot, and they're getting better.
Yeah,
and it's great people like you that make this podcast what it is, bro. I'm not like I could do solos, but I like to have guests around the community, and like I said, it's important to have the entrepreneurs, the artists, the DJs, the whoever else, but then people of the community who want to make a change in it, the advocates for the East Side, and that's what we are, bro. We're advocates, bro. And I'm following your lead, my guy.
Appreciate
100%,
it, man.
bro.
Likewise, man. I love what you're doing, man. You keep up the good work, the podcast, the people that you're bringing on here. You know, we all come from different walks of life, but I'm learning. You know, I'm hearing the podcast, listening to different people that tap into their world. What are they doing? You know, how can we collaborate?
How do they get there?
How'd they get there? Exactly.
Yeah, bro. Oh, yeah. I think and we all got a story.
Yeah.
That's what everybody. I used to always say that about rappers. Every rapper has a story. How can you call somebody whack when they're telling their story? Like, you can't be mad at that. Like, if as a DJ, well, before my DJ life, I'm a big hip hop head, so I'm like, how could you call another rapper who puts his life on this record whack? He's telling his story. Every story is unique. It's just like now. How could you tell? Every guest is something unique. Yeah. They're all telling their story. You're telling your story. Right. So it's cool to see that, bro. I appreciate you recognizing it, man. And I do it, bro, because I love it. You know what I mean? If people recognize it, that's cool. Like, I just do it because we have sponsors. I'm once a week. That's my thing. And whatever I could do. And you know, I just like to put out beauty, bro. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it's beautiful, and this is another beautiful podcast, bro. So I appreciate you, my guy.
It's awesome, man. Have this platform, you know, and to be vulnerable, to be real, to be, you know, you know, talking to the people, you know, who we are and what we're about. I think that's what we need more in life, you know, because a lot of people, they see the fake social media thing, you know, I see like people just post, but we need to see the real us, what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
How can we contribute to their life?
It's crazy. That's what's cool about when we're talking about the youth. I don't really post. I'm big on that post. I don't need to post. I'm a man at a high school. What am I gonna do posting all these kids? Hey, come talk to me. I don't do that, bro. Right. So them kind of get exposure to what we do for the youth. It doesn't, like you said, we're all part of this the district, right? We're all part of this. I don't know, this employee, right, of the state. It doesn't matter what level we're at. It doesn't matter, because I think sometimes I'm like, damn, I'm at the disposal, I'm at the bottom. That's cool, but you got to get another example, you got to put the fucking work in. You got to pay your dues. Sometimes you got to eat shit. I said, I'm paying my dues right now. I got to remember that all the time, bro. I'm like, I'm at the bottom of the barrel, and that's fine, but to that structure. But out here, I'm still doing them. I'm still going to mentor youth no matter how I feel about that. And I know what I signed up for. I'm willing to pay my dues and grind it out. And this is the door. The door's open now. We can move up and hopefully be, you know, a teacher, administrator of these children and the youth. And we need them, bro. They need people like us who are part of this system, part of this culture inside. Just to keep that, just to show that there's a light in that culture. Because I think there's this dark shadow right now, bro. We didn't even talk about the drugs right now that are out here. Right, the drugs are out here. What they're being exposed to, what these young kids are being exposed to, and it's sad, bro. Like, they're going through some adult situations. Like, I don't know how I handle that shit. Like, and they got to. You know how it is, bro. Just the horrible things that happen to some of these kids, or what they're going through. Some of them going through addiction right now. They're going through alcoholism. They're going through these pills that are out right now. It's disgusting, bro. Like, what? Like, that's the. Just watching these documentaries and just being exposed to what I hear, you know, kids are overdosing. We had a couple kids pass away in the district the last couple of years. It's like,
seen that, man.
Is that all? That my thing is that all preventable? Or is that something does that come with the territory? You know what I mean? Right. I don't know, bro. It's scary. And it scares me.
It is, man. I think it comes, you know, it's already embedded in our communities. You know, the drugs. You know, everything, the violence, it's in the community, but we just got to educate the students, let them know that, hey, this is the wrongs in doing this, and this is how you can get affected by it. But that addiction, man, like you mentioned, addiction is a strong word. It's something that affects so many people.
Affected me for a long time, bro. It's like, I'm not ashamed to say it I could have continued down that dark hole until I couldn't. I didn't think I was gonna get out. I thought I dug myself too deep, but thank God for the universe and positivity. I was able to recognize, like, okay, it's time. You had a good run. It's time to stop, bro. Like, what are you gonna do with your life? Like, you gonna lose it all? You know, I thought I was gonna lose it all, bro. It's like you gotta be man enough to say, hey, you're wrong, and it's time to change that up. You know what I mean? And I can't even imagine being a kid doing that. Imagine being a kid doing that. I don't think they have the willpower, bro. I think I'm a strong-minded person, and I fell victim to it. You know what I mean? Imagine these kids trying to stop. That's imagine what that has on the mind that's still developing. Especially, you know, our brain. That thing doesn't stop developing, fully developed to 25, 26, right? Imagine the youth who are going through this addiction. I'm not smart to say exactly what it does, but it has to have some strain on them, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's hard to walk, in those kids' shoes that are struggling with addiction. Is like, man, how do they, how can we get them to, come? That's when the professional help comes in. We got to meet, talk to someone, therapy to get them out of that addiction. And then one of my mentors, Andrew Jones, he's a therapist and he focuses on rehabilitating people with addictions. And I feel like it's extremely important because that path can lead in, go to death, or you could be, self-deteriorate.
I think it's important too that we don't treat these people who are addicted. Like, I don't like to call them addicts who suffer from addiction. We can't outcast them.
Yeah,
they made mistakes. I made mistakes.
Right.
How can you outcast someone like that? You have to give them opportunities to grow out of that, and hopefully they're strong enough to realize, hey, this is going to be a lifelong battle now. But that doesn't mean you're an outcast. You can't contribute to society.
Right.
Like, I think that's the biggest stigma. I think, and I'm sure, I don't know if you felt like that when I was growing up. You see Theo all messed up. Like, oh, forget about him. He's stuck in his ways. No, there could have been ways we could have helped him.
Exactly.
We shunned him. He was the bad guy. I know so many people on this stuff who are not bad people. They just made bad choices.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing with society that's bigger than just the youth. It's just society in general.
Right.
We cannot keep shunning these people.
Exactly. Yeah, man, I agree 100%. We all got, know people or have, family members that, they suffer from this, and it's something that we need to support them. Talk to them. Hey, what's going on? Do you need help? Yeah. And I feel like everyone's just focused on their own mind and their own self, what they want to do, and individualistic, that we don't got. I don't know if it's the time or the willingness to invest in their life too. Like, hey, let's help you out.
Or some people think they're better than somebody.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the he who without sin cast the first stone. Like, bro, none of us are perfect. We all have our vices. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Some don't come out the closet and say them.
Right.
But I think we cannot act like we're better than anybody in this life. We're all the same. We're all going one day. We ain't taking none of this stuff with us, bro. We're gonna come in the way we're going out the way we came in by ourselves. You know what I mean? And I think that's something I really try to press, just with my friends and everybody. Like, like you said something too. Not need to do it, but should do it. I think that's a big thing with the kids too. I don't tell them they need to do shit. I think they should. Like, this is what you should do. You don't have to listen to me, but you should do this. I think that's the approach we should take with a lot more people. Is the word need. I hate the word need, bro. I hate people say I need to do this. I need to do it. Maybe you should do this. You should do that. I think that's something that really, that little twist of that mentality, that approach to things could change so much, bro.
Yeah, man, I agree. 100%.
I think it's more of an accepting. It's accepting you have options.
Yeah.
And I think that's what everybody needs to see, bro. We all have options. We're not better than anybody. People go through shit, and it's not about how you get knocked down. So you're gonna get up and